Well, moving on now, and we're off to the movies, and the enchanting tale of Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris has now hit cinemas.
It's already being heralded as the feel-good movie of the year, making over $1.5 million at the box office. That's just during its opening week. Weekend Sunrise movie man Jason Jabba Davis caught up with the cast to chat about the film.
Mum's away.
Mrs. Harris, what would I do without you?
Mrs. Harris is the soul of discretion. One would never know she'd been but for the polish on my knobs.
That's what we are, Vi, the invisible women.
Lesley Manville stars in this charming tale of a seemingly ordinary British housekeeper with one dream: to own a dress from Dior.
My Eddie would love to see me in a Dior gown.
War's been over a long time. Your Eddie's never coming back.
But this doesn't stop Mrs. Harris as she embarks on an extraordinary adventure to Paris.
Excuse me, dear. I'm after a frock, one of them £500 ones. You have the wrong address.
Please let me escort you out.
No, hang on a minute. I've saved every penny scrubbing floors so I can buy this frock.
Director Anthony Fabian was tasked with bringing the beloved 1958 novel to life.
I was incredibly drawn to the central character, who is just utterly charming and who, in a way, provides a message of karma to the world. She's saying, if you treat people well, if you're kind, if you're your authentic self, other people will respond in kind and good things will happen to you.
How deeply were Christian Dior involved? Because that's a big part of the story, of course.
I had to bring Christian Dior in as a partner right from the beginning. They opened their archives so that we could explore the full output of Christian Dior across that decade when he was working. Without Dior's participation in that way, we could never have created something that was so absolutely spot-on accurate.
Who's that bloke?
Looks the master himself, Monsieur Dior.
He looks like my milkman.
But the story is more than just an ode to fashion.
It's the portrait of a woman who discovers her own strength, her own power. It's a sort of pre-feminist story.
The other leading lady is Mrs. Harris's best friend, Violet.
Do you agree it's rare that we see characters like Vi in a British film?
We don't see enough. That's what I say. I love the fact that the writers, Anthony Fabian, the director, have included somebody like Vi, because we all know that African and Caribbean people were here after the Second World War and made a contribution to the UK. So it's really refreshing to actually see that in a movie.
French actors were also cast for all French roles, including Lucas Bravo, who had just returned from filming Ticket to Paradise with George Clooney and Julia Roberts.
When I got back and I saw Leslie, Natasha, Jason, Lambert, and when we're together, we tap in the melody of the movie really easily. We just listen to each other, follow each other, and that's what happens when there's a beautiful energy and dynamic on set, and that's what Lesley brought to the equation. As a lead, she sets the tone, and we just tuned in, you know.
What I want audiences to take away from Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris is joy. I hope we've made what will become a little classic gem.
Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris is in cinemas now.